Long, long ago, before the borders of nations were drawn, before the great forests were touched by strangers, there lived a peaceful people deep in the heart of West Africa. Their village was called Zamboro. Zamboro was a beautiful place. The rivers were clean, the farms were rich, and every evening the sound of drums danced through the air like the heartbeat of the earth itself. The people lived as one family. No one slept hungry, and no child feared the night. But far beyond the great ocean, darkness had already begun moving toward the land. Strangers came across the sea in massive wooden ships. They carried weapons, chains, and hearts filled with greed. Alongside them marched armed raiders searching for villages they could destroy. And one terrible night, the darkness arrived in Zamboro. The people were sleeping peacefully when barking dogs shattered the silence. Then came smoke, then fire. Armed raiders stormed through the village carrying torches and weapons. Flames swallowed the huts while terrified villagers ran through the chaos searching for their families. The peaceful sound of drums was replaced by cries and confusion. By sunrise, the village had become ashes. The captured villagers were forced away from their homes and marched deep through the forest beneath heavy guard. Day after day, they walked toward the coast where slave ships waited beside the sea. But unknown to the raiders, one man still walked free. Deep inside the rainforest lived a warrior named Kofi. Kofi was feared across many lands. Tall like an Irako tree and strong like a lion, he belonged to the ancient warrior clans who protected the forest for generations. His spear was said to move faster than lightning, and his enemies whispered his name with fear. That same night, while returning from a hunt, Kofi noticed smoke rising above the distant trees. His spirit became uneasy, so he ran towards Zamboro. When Kofi finally reached the village, silence covered the land. Burned huts stood beneath the morning fog while smoke drifted slowly through the ruins. The drums were gone. The laughter was gone. Only ashes remained. As Kofi walked through the destruction, he suddenly stopped. Lying in the dirt was a broken bracelet covered in ash. He picked it up slowly and stared at it in silence. In that moment, sorrow became rage. Without resting, Kofi followed the tracks left behind by the raiders. For many days he crossed rivers, climbed rocky hills, and moved silently through dangerous forests. Then finally, near the coastline, he found them. A heavily guarded camp stood beside the sea. Armed guards watched over captured villagers held behind wooden barriers while ships waited in the distance beneath the dark sky. Among the prisoners sat frightened men and women who had almost lost hope completely. But hidden high within the trees, Kofi watched everything. That night, beside a small fire deep in the jungle, Kofi painted sacred white war marks across his face. He sharpened his spear slowly while the sound of distant thunder rolled through the forest. Kofi knew the battle ahead could cost him his life, but he also knew he could not abandon his people. When darkness finally covered the camp, the warrior moved silently through the shadows. One guard disappeared, then another. The night grew uneasy. Suddenly, chaos exploded across the camp. Kofi attacked the guards with the fury of a storm while prisoners broke free and escaped through smoke and confusion. Fire spread across the wooden structures as terrified soldiers rushed through the darkness. But near the burning camp stood the mercenary commander responsible for the suffering of the villagers. The commander raised his weapon and faced Kofi beneath the heavy rain. And there, surrounded by fire and thunder, the two warriors battled fiercely. Their blades clashed like lightning. Sparks flew into the darkness. The battle shook the bridge beside the river while freed villagers escaped deeper into the rainforest. Kofi fought not for glory, not for riches, but for freedom. And before sunrise, the cruel commander finally fell. Years later, the survivors rebuilt their homes deep inside the forest. And every night beside the fire, the elders told the story of the warrior who stood against chains and darkness. And even today, when the drums echo through the night wind of the forest, the name Kofi still lives on.